That's my new way of saying hello. Clearing my throat after the stream goes live rather than before the stream goes live, which is what, sorry, I'm just getting my phone out of my pocket. Should have done that before I sat down. Tonight's theme is doing things after I should have done them. Let's see how long that carries on and what other mutations of this thing we see. Miguelich, hello, sir. How are you this fine evening? Pretty bleak day in Melbourne, honestly. It was so dark with cloud cover. And there was rain. It wasn't like a huge storm. It was just a reasonable amount of rain today. But really quite heavy cloud cover for a lot of the day. And so I had to have inside lights on here. You can see, the big glass doors behind me let in a lot of light. There was no light to let in today. I had to have the lights on during the day. Very weird. Invisible Chicken, hello. It has been a long time. Nice to see you, though. And I hope you have been well. And I hope you're doing well today. In this weird world we find ourselves in. It's always so weird at the moment. It's like, how are you seems like a bad thing to say because there's a thing. Chad on Facebook thinks I should smoke dope. It'll make my life better. I just don't smoke. I don't smoke anything. So if I were to inhale smoke, I'd just choke and cough a lot. Mind you, if it was legal here, I reckon I'd go mad for the edibles. I'd probably be doing edibles a lot. But it is not legal, and so that is not something that is easily gotten, and so I don't do it. If it was legal, I wouldn't smoke because, like I said, I can't draw smoke into my lungs without coughing and choking. But if it was legal and edibles were a thing, I think I'd probably be all over that. In fact, if the world ever, normalizes a bit and I go to the US, I'll probably go somewhere where edibles are legal and easily obtained and go for it. Oh, Invisible Chicken, you're taking... okay, if you quit uni and that makes you better, then that was clearly the right thing to do. Yes, you gotta. Sorry, there's just something. What is in my pocket? Okay, I don't know what I did. At some point, I have clearly put something in my pocket that was digging into my leg, but I think I got rid of it. Sure what it is. Actually, you know what it looks like? It looks like the sealing wax from a bottle of booze, which, considering how many bottles I've had in the last 12 months that had that sealing wax on it, that's a plausible possibility. That while I was opening one, just random bits flew around. Invisible Chicken, okay, so yes, a little bit of cigarette smoke gets you too. Yeah, so not good. So, yes, and also, besides the smoking thing, I don't do illegal things. Kids, all laws are here for our protection. There are no bad laws. Anyone who tells you that prohibition is counterproductive and just advances the carceral state and criminal interests, why, they're talking silly talk. because the people who control our lives only put good laws in place. There are no bad laws. And that's, I think, the definitive statement on that front, that I support all laws because there are not and never have been any bad laws. They've all been great. Yes, I think we shouldn't protest against laws or the people who enforce them or the people who profit from them, because laws exist for one reason only, for our protection. And it would be silly to not want that protection. So laws are great. I've never said anything to the contrary. You can't prove anything. Shut up. I'm getting a lawyer. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? Who knows? Truth is such an ephemeral thing. Who's to say? Who in this world is to say what's real and what isn't? You know, it's you know, there's just a lot of unexplained things in the universe, and you know, I'm just not current. Choking on Ashes is on the Twitches. He's going to switch to the YouTubes. Oh, I accidentally switched on Siri. How the fuck did that happen? Go away, Siri. Nope. Nope. Bad Siri. Bad Siri. Go away. She said sorry. Siri, switch off. Siri, switch off.
I'm not sure I understand.
Now she's talking to me. Okay, whatevs. How do I get it to switch off like that? Okay, why the fuck did it switch on? I don't know. Fox, you're a voice in my head, that's true. Justin Underwood, we fly helicopter on Mars. I thought it was headline news. I saw many, many news reports about it today. Yes, for a very short time, that little helicopter did fly, which was a fairly significant engineering feat. Choking on Ashes on the YouTubes now. All right, we're all settling in on a Tuesday night. What else has happened today besides helicopters on Mars? Just makes me think of the old Bowie song, Is There Life on Mars? So I just thought I'd open the news, and there's stories about the trans-Tasman travel bubble. But the big one is New Zealand airport worker tests positive to COVID on second day of travel bubble. Fucking hilarious. Jesus, that's just it, isn't it? Airport worker tested positive. Prime Minister Ardern said the worker had been fully vaccinated, tested positive as part of routine screening. She said worker cleaned planes coming from red zone or high-risk countries. Signs point this case having no connection to new Australian arrivals. That's interesting. Someone testing positive after being vaccinated. Be interesting to find out what comes of that. So, vaccinated and yet testing positive. Stella and Safa, good evening. It is true, Safa, vaccine won't make you invincible from COVID. What it almost definitely does is stop you getting sick from it. And all their available evidence is it does definitely protect you from serious illness, like requiring hospitalization, ventilation, and that type of thing. So, so people are going to Australia and New Zealand. Oh my God, that stupid federal government consent video with a milkshake. After everyone ripped on it and they defended it and went, no, it's good. Then a day later went, okay, no, it's bad. And they've taken it down. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Oh my God. Classic New South Wales corruption. New South Wales MP John Sidoti told a corruption inquiry he repeatedly signed documents without reading them and has no real understanding of what they meant. He's being investigated. The allegations he misused his position to influence planning decisions. It's the member for Drummoyne. He was sports minister, so he's in the LNP, be Liberal Party. He would remove himself from the Liberal Party room while the investigation was underway. He didn't appreciate details of family trusts, what being beneficiary meant. Doesn't understand the meaning of the word beneficiary until about 2019 when it was raised in Parliament. He said his accountant might have discussed parliamentary disclosure obligations, but he couldn't recall the details. I thought I was just signing tax papers. Prior to entering Parliament, I was employed by my parents. I signed on as a son and employee. So the prosecution saying, you signed documents well into your late 30s without turning your mind to the capacity in which you were signing? And he goes, yes. So it's like the corruption investigator is saying, is your defense you're a fucking moron? And he goes, yes, that's my defense. Safi, yes, Mrs. Angry had her second vaccine last week. Didn't really feel any side effects from it. Judging from the chatter happening in politics, I'll be eligible to get a vaccine next week. So we'll see how long that takes to check in. Safi, you're excited about the Mad Max movie. That'll be a few years before that comes out. But they're going to shoot it in New South Wales. Sally, your GP was saying the other day, looking at speed of mutation, probably have to get booster shots every 6 months. Definitely once a year at an absolute minimum. Hopefully it'll be part of like an annual flu vaccination. Choke on an Ashes, 11-11. 8-11 here when it was 11-11 for you. Choke on an Ashes, you heard of something called Utegate in Aussie politics, but didn't really understand it. That's an old one. That was when Kevin Rudd was running for Prime Minister. I don't remember the details, but it was absolute bullshit. The Liberal Party tried to whip up some hysteria against the Labor leader that he'd been using someone's ute for his campaign and hadn't declared it. And it turned out to be complete bullshit. And the Liberal Party looked stupid as fuck afterwards. Chris, hello. Hello in capitals to you too, sir. Justin, you don't think people get emotional scars from having a milkshake thrown in their face? I'm missing what that's a reference to. So you missed your flu shot today because you're pulling an AIDS and you were in hospital. Oh, no. But from the sounds of it, you're no longer in hospital. You're just getting checked out, I hope. Man, sounds like it's a bit rough for you at the moment, Stella. I hope things improve. Chris, I could fly to New Zealand. I think I will wait until the actual collapse of society happens. New Zealand would be a good place to wait out the end of society. Yes, Fox, I know it's hard to believe the LNP looked really fucking stupid, but on this occasion they did. Oh, right. Talking about... See, I didn't even look at it. The consent video about the milkshakes. I only know it exists. I didn't look at it. Justin, brother got vaccinated. Got the Pfizer vaccine. Nice. Oh, yeah, I remember that. You remember that when it was throwing milkshakes on fascists was a thing for a little while? And sad fuck of arse-hats got milkshaked in Cornwall. And they tried to act like it was this big, terrible thing when it was a completely non-violent way of humiliating them, because they're lying, hypocritical sacks of shit, these right-wing shitlords. Oh, how I hate them. So, yes, the milkshakes. What a time that was, milkshaking people. Yes, Fox, lactose the intolerant. Safi, you're going to wait for the Pfizer vaccine? Who knows what's going to happen with vaccines later this year? Ah, yes, and Choke on an Ashes Egg Boy was a bit of a hero. Stella, you're home now. Churning butter to make ghee. Oh, nice. You're in last night because exorcist-style vomiting. Holy shit. But you've pulled the cream out of the freezer, so now you have to churn it. Yes, Safa, we are looking at a Victorian state election and a federal election in the same year. Who knows when they'll actually happen, because there's some variability in them. Yes, Fox, we made the Egg Boy flip as a cocktail to commemorate Egg Boy. Oh, I didn't know he was on Australian Story, Safa. Yeah, and he got beaten up by Nazis for doing it. And again, dropping an egg on Fraser Anning's bonce is so non-violent and just designed to humiliate him because he's a piece of shit. Also a sniveling coward who's on the run because been investigated for tax irregularities, and he's skipped the country. Assuming he's going to die soon before the tax department can get him. Safar, I don't know what the rules are with the proximity between state and federal elections, or if there are any specific rules. I think they like to separate them a bit. Chris, only one thing you hate more than cilantro is Nazis. We call it coriander, and we call the other things Nazis. So... Hellshade, hello. Yes, that's the thing, because it's 4:20. We had to leave milk and cookies out for Willie Nelson because he gets the munchies. He definitely does. He needs it more than Santa Claus does. I mean, I'm not aware of Santa Claus getting stoned before he does his annual trip around the world, but we all know Willie Nelson. And what's that? Yeah, I am not cilantro / coriander. Yes, I've just sent the word coriander out to 3 streams. Oh my God, Stella, you should go to town. You've churned 600 mils, 3.6 liters to go. Holy crap. Chris, Willie Nelson's from your neck of the woods, Vancouver. Well, Vancouver, Washington, not Vancouver, Canada. Who's Vancouver named after? Obviously someone important to have a couple cities named after them. Shizzy forgot school was back. Change your trip plans to miss school runs. I'm just going to look that over. Vancouver. George Vancouver? I'm guessing that's who it's named after. British officer in the Royal Navy, best known for his 1790s expedition, explored the Pacific coast. Right, yes, it was named after him. Vancouver Island, city of Vancouver in British Columbia, as well as Vancouver, Washington in the United States, are all named for him. So he was an explorer who explored that part of the world. So he had a couple major things named after him. George, that's just such a disappointing first name, George Vancouver. Hellshade, Santa snorts, magic, Dusty gives the reindeers. That actually makes sense. That's how Santa goes so fast all night. Just in the US, they do all federal, state, local elections in one go on the same day. Yeah, and they don't do it on the US elections are fucking stupid. The way they make it so difficult should be either on a weekend or a public holiday. So, Chris, your city is where Hudson's Bay Company put its Northwest Fort before it founded Victoria on Van Island. Named after the fort, Canadian cities, more names after the man. Okay. So, yeah, Stella, we do have a lot of stuff named after Sturt here. One of the explorers who wandered off into the desert. Yeah. Who else do we have? What are the recurring names around here? Trying to remember. What's got more than one thing named after them? Flinders. There's Flinders stuff everywhere. Macquarie. There's a lot of Macquarie things named after Lachlan Macquarie. Chris, you wish the British stayed there so you were still in Canada. Well, they tried. They tried to get it back in 1812. Didn't work. Yes. Oh, yeah. For Cook is an obvious one. True. And yes, there's good call. There were a lot of Hume things around. Mitchell is a little bit. Okay, Shieldsy, Petrie's a bit more obscure. I know there are actually a couple things named after Petrie. God, I had that one who's like a German explorer. Leichhardt, that's him. There's a few things named after Leichhardt. So how many things are named after Murchison, Stella? I'm not saying you didn't deserve it. I'm just no. So, Chris, Portland, Oregon was a coin toss. They were either name it Boston or Portland after the main city. Portland won the coin toss. Okay. I mean, I'm not sure if it's true, but I think I read, because there are a lot of Springfields in the US. I think I read once that was the reason that they chose the name Springfield, because it was such a common name. It was in multiple states. I'm going to look at most common city names in the US. It's the second most. It is the second most. Washington is first. There are 88 places named Washington in the US, which is very confusing. So yeah, that anecdote was true. As Springfield, I guess they thought Washington was too obvious, or if they kept saying they lived in Washington, people would think they meant Washington DC. So yeah, it was the most, after Washington, Springfield is the most common place name in the US, and that's why they called the Simpsons town Springfield. So you know of 3 Murchisons in WA and Tassie. There you go. Hey, so Cow Hugging Vegan is Sunbear changed your name again for shits and giggles. Why not? Why not indeed? That's interesting, Fox. There's a Texas in Queensland because it was founded at the same time as Texas Land Rush in the US. Queensland wins for the city of Townsville. I have no idea if the people who invented the Powerpuff Girls knew there was a city of Townsville in Queensland, or if it was just a joke they came up with because it was stupid city of Townville. Actually, I saw one the other day about place names. Now, you may or may not know it's actually reasonably common for rivers to be technically called river, because a colonizer lands and says, what do you call that? And it's like the Romans land in England and say, what do you call that? And the locals said Avon. And so it goes down on maps as the Avon River, but Avon actually meant river, so it's river. I saw one the other day, Topenhow Hill in Cumbria in England. So it started both Tor and Pen mean hill. So it's like the first people called it Tor, and then colonizers came along and said, what's that called? And they said Tor, and it's okay, we call it Tor Pen. So it was then called Hill. And then another colonizer said, what's that called? And I said Torpen, and their word for hill was How. And said, okay, this is Torpenhow. So at that point it's hill. And then the Saxons, the Anglos take over, and what's this area called? And it's like, it's called Torpenhow. And they go, okay. They put it on the maps as Torpenhow Hill. So it's hill. The place is called Hill. So I just saw that the other day and thought it was silly and funny. It is true, Justin. Melbourne has a suburb called Vermont. Also has a Bronx. People tend to reuse names a lot. Nobody, greetings to you. Stella, you get upset as a Victorian how West Australians pronounce Laverton. They say Laverton. God, we get upset at people who just pronounce Melbourne sensibly, because it's not sensible to say Melbourne. It's just like you're just swallowing the second half of the word. From the spelling, it's obviously Melbourne, which is Melbourne. It's too much effort to say Melbourne. We don't like the letter R in Australia. We tend to leave the letter R off. Even saying it, we don't go R. It's R. It's what? It's R. Chris, you have to rename the town. Clearly a city. Obviously Citiesville, Australia, not Townsville. Well, it is officially the city of Townsville. Melbourne. We just don't like the letter R. This is like the Boston accent as well. They don't like the letter R, which is funny because most American accents just love the letter R and really say the letter R. Yes, you're right, Stella. We have Brooklyn in Melbourne as well, which I discovered relatively recently, just driving there. Like, seriously, is this area called Brooklyn? I don't know that. Nobody had the use of a nice Chrysler 300C for the past week. Returned it today. Washed, polished, and waxed it. Shiny reflection is blinding. I think the Chrysler 300Cs look like gangster cars, and I say that in a positive sense. They look like gangster cars to me. I think that's actually a deliberate thing in their design. I think they are meant to evoke mid-20th century gangsters. Unless I'm reading too much into that. Chris, when you visit, you're going to call it Malaneborn. Yeah, okay. Yes, nobody you agree. They look gangster. I'm not joking. I think that's a serious, deliberate design thing to look like gangster cars. Oh, there you go. Cowhug and Vegan. There's a Brooklyn on the Hawkesbury River in New South Wales. See, we do just keep reusing names. Good. Finally healing this scratch on my arm that I don't even know how I got there. Yes, I thought that would be it, Stella. Aussies pronounce it Laverton instead of Laverton. Oh, Laverton. Sorry, they say Laverton, not Laverton. Yes, Shieldsy. What is with Australian place names where the name's twice, like Gin Gin, Bill Bill, Grong Grong, Curry Curry, Wagga Wagga? I don't know if that's an Indigenous thing or not. I see nobody the luxury side of it. That's the whole gangster thing, as far as I'm concerned. A big luxury car for gangsters. So, yes, we agree that they're a gangster car, said not in a disparaging way. It's a drink called a Narramatta, which just makes me think of Parramatta. There's a drink called an Alabama Slammer, which just reminded me of a dance track from the 90s called Tamarama Door Slammer. So I think I want to do a version of an Alabama Slammer, but with Australian ingredients, and call it a Tamarama Door Slammer. Still, you can pick Victorians by how they pronounce Laverton. Nice. So, you think it'd be funny if Dubbo was Dubbo Dubbo? For some reason, it wouldn't surprise me if it was called Dubbo Dubbo. There's just something about that. Oh, yeah, nobody enjoyed the 5.7 litre V8. Watching cars turn into speck in the rearview mirror. Imagine it fucking eats the petrol too. Just the New Yorkers have said Melbourne reminds them of New York. So suburbs named Brooklyn or Bronx make sense. I've not really heard that about New York and Melbourne. I've never been to New York, but it certainly doesn't immediately spring into my mind. San Francisco, to me, was more like an Australian city than other American cities I've been to. Not that I've really been to that many American cities, honestly. Thank you, Kelcher King, the sexy-looking older Harry Potter. Stella, I don't know if that's apocryphal or not either. The theory that doubles are plurals in Aboriginal, so Wagga Wagga is two Waggas. Maybe. Cowhagen Vegan used to go tree planting along Merry Merry. She should call Merry Creek. Yes, I've been in that area, yes. Yeah, that's what I thought, nobody. The C100, 300, good on the highway, terrible on fuel in town. Safra, I did see that thing about Australia Post stopping posting perishable food after June 30, which doesn't make sense. It's just one of those things where someone comes up with a rule that doesn't make sense, that no one asked for, and actually hurts people. Because mail order stuff has been very important during COVID with no one traveling. Ooh, Justin, you were in New York a month before 9/11. That's a bit creepy. Admit it, you were part of it. Raiders, good evening to your sir. Stella, you glad you got your shipment of truffles before the ban? Yeah. Well, so long as alcohol's not regarded as perishable, I'll be fine. Have I ordered food over the internet through Australia Post? I don't think I have. Ooh, it's the anniversary of Mary Pickford's Screen debut. What's in a Mary Pickford cocktail? Rum, pineapple, maraschino. I don't have any grenadine. I've got to make some grenadine. Probably due to make some syrups. I might make a honey syrup and a grenadine. Yes, indeedy. Safra, better not include booze as perishable food. Booze is not particularly perishable. Cowhugging vegan used to live 2 minutes walking distance from the Mary. Yeah, if you like going down to the river, very handy stuff. I don't. Interesting. I'm not 2 minutes from anything interesting. There's a park. Mrs. Anger and I usually go for a walk in the park. Lego bartender collection. Okay, it's a weird one. Someone's made all these custom Lego minifigs. Their representation of famous bartenders. Ooh. Tiki style bourbon drinks. What are they saying is a tiki style bourbon drink? Trader Vic's sour or a port light. Okay, what's a Trader Vic's sour? Whiskey, lemon juice, orgeat, simple syrup. It's a fucking whiskey sour with orgeat. I probably couldn't even tell the difference. A port light. Bourbon, lemon juice, passion fruit, grenadine. So I keep seeing bloody grenadine. So I need to make some grenadine. I don't have any grenadine. We get some pomegranate. This one, gin, lemon juice, orgeat, passion fruit, velvet falernum, and crushed ice. See, I can't be bothered doing crushed ice. I might just, that's the sort of thing I'd make and serve up. And one of my favorite ever drink names is a drink called the Suffering Bastard. Gin, brandy, lime, sugar syrup, Angostura bitters, and ginger beer. I've got that ginger beer in the fridge. Maybe I'll make a tall drink. Ginger beer, to a Collins, filled with cracked or cubed ice. Shake and strain. I might make a Suffering Bastard. 9, hello. She goes, turn on the TV. Oh, you turned on the TV as the second tower was hit by the plane on 9/11. Yes, Celtic King, I'm back to my pre-COVID weight. Been doing meal replacements for the last 2 months. So although you're always saying flattering things, I have actually lost over 10 kilograms in the last 2 months. So that's a thing. Back to my pre-COVID weight, put on about 10 kilos over COVID. I slept through the Trade Center attacks. By the time I woke up, it was the next day and things happened. And did actually, with my then partner, we did have a TV in the bedroom, and we switched it on in the morning news. And what was showing at the time, I don't know if you remember this footage, was a guy, I think he was a doctor, and he had a video camera. And this was after both towers had come down and the streets were like full of that impenetrable dust. And he was hoping he could help things, and then he was really worried he's going to die. And these tickers going along about, World Trade Center hit by planes. And it just made no sense. And I was going, it's a movie? There's some weird disaster movie on? And, my partner said, why would there be a movie on at this time of morning? She goes, this is happening. And I went, no, that's not. And it took a while to penetrate it was actually happening. I felt King saying Toby's lost weight too. Well, good on you, Toby. So, all right, I'm going to make drink with ginger beer and see if I like it because I've never actually done that before. I'm going to make a suffering bastard, some gin and some brandy. Lime juice, demerara sugar, bitters. All right, 4 ounces of ginger. All right, I'm going to get my measuring jigger, which is just over here. Just rinse it out. Okay, so it says 4 ounces of ginger beer. And I've got ginger beer here. So let's put 4 ounces of ginger beer in a glass. Okay, come off, you bastard. Flat ginger beer, but I'll live. 2 ounces. 2 ounces. All right. 1 ounce gin, 1 ounce brandy. Okay, let's go with this. What? I'm going to go with the gin that's just sitting here. My 40 spotted citrus. Make it a bit bright. Bright and citrusy. One. And, oops, I was supposed to shake that. Dang it. All right, it's nice. I'll shake the rest. All right, I'll shake that. Brandy. What is my brandy? It's hiding there. There it is. Right, 1 ounce of brandy. 1 ounce of brandy. No. 1 ounce of brandy. Now, I'm meant to do lime juice, lime juice, demerara sugar syrup. Lime juice, demerara sugar syrup, bitters. Angostura bitters. All right, so how much? Half ounce of lime juice. Half ounce of lime juice. 1/4 ounce of the demerara sugar syrup. All right. Try and check. I need something to stir this. Why is it always so hard for me to find the long-handled spoons? What do you would suggest they be to eat? So strange. I always have trouble finding the long-handled spoons. No, fuck it. I'll get the finger. Don't know why I always have such trouble. Right. Oh, hello, Kirsten. Australia Post. Sorry, Ashoka. It's worth pointing out it's not Australia Post destroying small businesses. It's the LNP destroying Australia Post. Sharon, hello, by the way. Celtic King, AIDSy is as fine as you can. Because you need till the meds kick in and you pass out. Yes, happy single malt day. You must be exhausted like that. You must have been so many orders come through today. You're going to be busy at the distillery for a while. I'm just going to shake this. To a dirty dump. Mix that. Mix that, Gaz Regan's finger. All right. Ooh, there's that ginger beer burn. Okay, interesting drink. Thank you, Sharon. I'm feeling reasonably well. Wait, I don't think I put any bitters in. How many bitters was I meant to put in? 2 dashes. All right. I'm putting 2 dashes and stir it again. I'm doing my best to be well. 2 dashes of bitters. Stir it again. Move it away from the microphone a bit because noise can be a bit much. Okay. Never had this drink before because it had ginger beer in it, and I thought I didn't like ginger beer. But then we got a taste test, and it was okay. You got 700 plus orders in 4 hours. I had to help on the phones, which you hate. Oh no. Okay, see you sometime later, Celtic King. Nobody, the LNP destroying something good. Yes, it ain't so. Yeah, what they're trying to do with Australia Post is to cut back on the basic services it offers, like posting letters. And because a profit can be made from sending parcels, they want to privatize the parcel bit and, give it to their donors. So you had nightmares after 9/11, same as your nephew was 3 at the time. Didn't help it was on TV 24/7 for weeks. It was a bit much how much it was on TV. Pretty full on. Oh, for those who don't know what Kirsten and I are talking about with orders and whatnot, the distillery where Kirsten works, Archie Rose, released the 3rd release of their single malt whiskey, which is A, very popular, B, won a bunch of awards for being best whiskey, and in the world. Those are some global competitions. And 3, it always sells out really quickly. And so the release happened at 12. What was funny, I went on the Archie Rose site before 12 and the site's behaving normally. And then a couple minutes past 12, I went on to order some of this single malt and the site was so slow. Everything loaded so slowly. And I thought, oh my God, they're just getting slammed with all these people on their website. And, but I did get my bottle ordered, which will arrive who knows when. And I'll get to sample an award-winning Australian single malt whiskey. Oh, no, Chuck, I know she's not looking after yourself. Feel like you should be out and about. It's a lovely day, but you're in bed. Maybe that is actually looking after yourself. I'll just throw that out there. Nobody wished there was a disease that only killed the right-wing scumbags. Well, once we start wishing death on people, it kind of makes us monsters, but it's also understandable. As the LNP tried to eliminate the FPOS facilities from regional post offices. The reason for AusPost managers were rewarded with watches because they saved the scheme. Yeah. LNP is determined to destroy Australia Post. And they suck. Okay, so it is good. Yes, your site didn't crash. It struggled very bravely on under a lot of pressure. So this tastes mostly, now you'll hardly be surprised, this tastes mostly of ginger beer. A little bit of lime juice. Can't really taste the booze. I mean, it's 2 shots. So it's not really strong, but it's not nothing, as the saying goes. Let's see if the site's still struggling along, or if people have stopped going onto the site, so it's performing normally now. Kind of looks normal. Single malt whiskey. There we go. Oh yeah, everything's just loading straight away. Yeah. So the pressure on the site has gone down because everything's loading straight away. Oh, Grasshopper's there apparently. Hello, Grasshopper. Sharon, the site is Archie Rose, ARCHIE ROSE, Archie Rose Distillery. Looks like it's still available. It is about, it's $119 for a bottle, which for an Australian whiskey of that quality is actually not an excessive amount of money. And I'm quite looking forward to getting it. I do have whiskies over there. That's like 120 is like my threshold. And for like a serious whiskey drinker, that's nothing. But I don't think I've spent more than $120 on a spirit. Okay, I have on absinthe because it's just expensive because of the alcohol content. 200 left when you went home, Kirsten. Well, the site's functioning quite fast now, and it wasn't showing as sold out. But at that rate, I reckon it will be tomorrow morning. Just so if the Libs want to destroy every Labor government company they did make. They want to destroy things previous Liberal governments have done too. It's just this religion of neoliberalism that's ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous. It's ideology above reality. It's and the idea of doing something for the public good seems to be absolute anathema to these bastards. Sharon, yeah, I think that is not a bad price for a literal world-class whiskey, as in this whiskey has won, best in multiple international competitions. The Lark Distillery in Tasmania, which is arguably Australia's most famous whiskey distillery and is the oldest of the modern distilleries, their whiskies ratchet way up into the hundreds. I got one of their whiskies for comparatively much more reasonable price, but it's a blend, not a single malt. The single malt start at about 200, I think. Says hello, Lee. By the way, yeah, I've got three Starward whiskies that cost about $100, $120 for a 700 ml bottle, and now I will be getting this Archie Rose. At the Archie Rose Rye, don't remember how much that was. Quickly look. How much have I been spending on Australian booze? No, the rye malt was $119 as well. It's really good. It's worth it. They also do gin and vodka, and I've got Archie Rose Distiller's Strength Gin as well. I was always intrigued by the white rye as well, a rye whiskey that is clear rather than coloured. It's an unaged whiskey, won a bunch of awards. When it's 50%, so it's 100 proof moonshine. Unaged rye whiskey. Always been tempted on the white rye as well. Kirsten Anathema is one of your favorite bands. Nice. And Safa, I use words, Safa. Anathema It's well, an approximate meaning. I look up the literal meaning, but it's like ah, it's absolutely repulsive to you. Like it's your weakness. Let's get the dictionary definition of define anathema. Something or someone one vehemently dislikes. Oh, and it was, in an arcane sense, it was a formal curse from the Pope or Council of the Church excommunicating a person. So in religious times, it meant a lot. So yes, it's just something you're very repulsed by. And it really feels like for the LNP, things that are done for the public good are anathema to them. Everything's got to be about profit and private enterprise. Guess you say the white rye is interesting. Actually, I'm probably going to get drunk. When the Archie Rose shows up, I'm going to do a comparative tasting of my high-end Australian whiskies. And probably get pretty drunk doing it. So if I went for the ones that are all about that price, that would be doing... So, well, the new one, obviously, the single malt, the rye malt, the Lark, the Starwood Fortis, the Starwood Dolce, and the Starwood Mesquite smoked. So just having a little tasty of each of those would be enough to get me on my way, really. So yeah, I'll do that actually when the and I guess I've got two kind of not really expensive, but not bog standard American whiskies too. The Rittenhouse Rye and the Knob Creek 100 proof bourbon. So I could compare them as well. Oh, I've actually got the little sample pack up there. Up there, little sample pack of bourbons. And I've still got one of the high-end Johnny Walkers up there too. Oh, you bought 3 new whiskies when you're in WA. Who's the good whiskey makers in WA? Okay, I'm ginger beer is interesting because I wouldn't drink a lot of ginger beer, but you know, it's got a lot of character in a drink. This drink basically tastes like ginger beer and a bit of lime juice. I can't taste the gin or the brandy in here. Oh, I did see. I got an email late about Tiny Bear's whiskey release. They sold most of it, and they were still selling some 200 ml bottles, but they were quite expensive. I'm not as serious a collector as you, Kirsten. So the price of people's first releases usually put me off. For those who don't know, like a lot of distilleries will build up to releasing a whiskey. It normally would take at least 5 years from having an operational distillery to bring out a whiskey release that you are happy with. So most people start making gins and vodkas because you don't have to age them. You just distill them and you come up with a blend you like and you're off to the races. But if, they're working on a whiskey release, for most distilleries, it would take them at least 5 years to get their first whiskey ready for release. I think under the rules, you got to age it 3 years, but very few of them release one after 3 years. Like they put a lot of effort because, you know, you're going to be known by your first release. So, yeah, they want it to be right. Annette, hello, by the way. Oh, everyone's making calls, coming back from calls. Stella's come back to get the WA whiskey advice from Kirsten. Ooh, whippersnapper make bourbon style whiskey with corn. That is interesting for Australia. Okay, nobody, thanks for dropping in, man. It's always good to see you. Figuratively speaking. So, I mean, Kirsten would know the answer to this. Is it most common for Australian distillers to make whiskey with a barley base, a wheat or barley base? Because there's, and again, you can correct me on this if I'm wrong, but I don't think there are any rules for Australian whiskey makers about what they have to use at the base. Whereas with things like Scotch whiskey, there are rules. Bourbon, there are rules. Like there has to be a minimum of certain grains in the base and whatnot. Malted barley, that's what I thought. Yeah. The most common base for Australian whiskies is malted barley, which is also the most common base for Scotch whiskey and probably Irish whiskey, unless I'm wrong. Happy to be corrected on that. Whereas, yeah, bourbon has its own rules. Yeah, if you get an American whiskey that is predominantly corn, it will be called corn whiskey, because you can't call it bourbon if it's a corn whiskey, because bourbon ain't corn. So, yeah, so basically what you need is something that you're extracting a sugar from that you ferment with yeast, and thereby coming up with your base for distilling. You know, rum uses molasses, like actual sugar, as the base, whereas for whiskies and commonly for gins and vodkas as well, using a grain, extracting, you know, there's the chemical process where you extract the sugar from the grain in the fermenting. Oh God, I washed my hair this morning, my long hair, and it's all floppy. It's all soft because I didn't put any product in it. And so soft and floppy. Ooh, Sharon, you got Crystal Head vodka. That is one vodka that I regard as quite drinkable. I've still got I got some little bottles of it up there. Many vodkas which are okay for mixing. I don't think a lot of them are good for drinking, but Crystal Head is a perfectly reasonable sipping vodka. Oh, there you go. I knew you'd know, Kirsten. Bourbon is 51% corn. Must be aged in the bourbon states. That's right. It has to come from particular states as well. So the states that used to be controlled by the French, basically. And then you get the rye whiskey, which is a bit spicier, and you get all sorts of odd variants. If it's unaged, it's moonshine. I've got a couple of unaged spirits over there. I was about to say, I think they're all Australian. No, I've got Pachin, which is an Irish unaged spirit. I think it's like the base that would become Irish whiskey if it was fully matured. But yeah, if you just bottle it without maturing it and it's a clear spirit, it's Pachin or Puitin. Well, it's pronounced Pachin, however you spell it. It's Irish moonshine. But I have an Australian cane spirit. Like, it hasn't gone through the proper process for making rum, even though it has the base well, it's a base, I think it's cane sugar rather than molasses. I think it's unaged. Pretty rough on its own, but is actually a really good mixer. And I got this one from the Brookies Distillery where they made some moonshine out of beer. They just called it Pacific Moonshine. Again, is slightly rough because it's unaged, but is a really good mixer. So Stella, when you win the 80 million in Powerball this week, shout the Angry Streamer Tour of Australian Distilleries. Yeah, just get a big fucking Priscilla Queen of the Desert bus and just travel Australia, going distillery to distillery. Choking on Ashes. Why is Crystal Head vodka good? It's smooth for a start. I guess I haven't drank it for a long time. This has just been sitting up here for ages. God, I've got 3 of these bottles. I only had 2. I think I got these I think I've had these for a very long time. So teeny tiny Crystal Head bottle. I think it's from Duty Free. I think I've had it for a really long time. Sorry, I cracked the little seal. Get that cracking noise as I open it. Yeah, it's a neutral. It's a very neutral vodka. It's got no aroma. It has no aroma. What do they call it? Triple distilled or whatever. But if I taste it, it's just very smooth. It does not burn. It's a bit warm going down, as alcohol tends to be. Very warming as it hits your stomach. But what does it taste like? Because it's not meant to taste like anything. It's good for sipping because it doesn't fucking taste like anything. So Joke on Ashes asks, Stella confirms this is officially part of the Outback Orgy, the distillery tour. Sharon, I've had 2 of the big bottle. They're both empty. I kept the decanters. I fully admit part of the reason I bought Crystal Head vodka was because I wanted to keep the decanter. Same as I got this Alien Head one. They were on special when I got them, but part of the reason for getting them was definitely because I wanted the bottle as a decanter. Now I've got these little teeny ones that I can keep. But yeah, I mean, why is it good? It's it doesn't burn. It is a proper neutral vodka. It's very neutral. And I can't even describe it. It's just got the lightest flavor when you drink it, but it's easy to drink. So Kirsten, Whippersnapper is a great name for a distillery, apparently because the old veteran who lived next door called the distiller that as a kid. He caught Jimmy to distill on his illegal still. Nice. Safra, it doesn't taste like water. It's not as neutral as water. But this is literally, this is as neutral as vodka can get, in my opinion. This, again, the actual legal definition of vodka is a neutral grain spirit. So when they market particular vodkas, like Buffalo Trace or whatever, all these things about it's got the taste of this or that. Well, technically that's not a vodka if it actually really has those flavors. But that's a true neutral vodka. It's warm going down, but it doesn't make you gag. And there's something just very light in the taste that can be appreciated. I think if you had it on ice, you wouldn't taste anything. Yes, I agree with Stella. Kirsten, you would obviously be the tour guide. Goes without question. I mean, Kirsten, you'd be planning the itinerary. You'd be planning the route, I think. And we would just safari this country of distillers. See, Sharon, you and I apparently go after things because of the bottle that's in them. You got the Crystal Head, you got the Alien Head, I got the Crystal Head, I got the Alien Head. My excuse at the time, like I said, when I bought them, they were on special. And so I was probably paying $10 for the bottle because it's more expensive than other vodkas. And I think the bottle was worth $10 basically. Kirsten, you only got to 8 distilleries in WA, but managed to buy 20 bottles. Nice. I think I'm probably going to run out of Anther's cherry gin soon. I think I'll replace it with Patient Wolf's equivalent. I forget what their version of sloe gin is. Patient Wolf gin. Where are we? Okay. Yes, I'm over 18. Gin. Yes, there's the Melbourne Dry. Oh, what the fuck is this? Blackthorn. That's their equivalent. Blackthorn. And because sloe is also known as blackthorn. So early Scottish settlers planted the blackthorn bush, also known as sloe, around northern Tasmania to create field boundaries, bring a sense of home. Fresh sloe berries were handpicked, sent to a distillery, steeped in Melbourne Dry gin for 5 months before lightly sweetening and releasing at 37%, which is kind of high for a sloe gin. Low sugar, big flavor, high ABV. Because it's common for a sloe gin to be 25, 27%. Yes, Kirsten, because I'm on Anther's mailing list. I know they released their Cherry 2021. And yeah, Patient Wolf's Blackthorn is made with real sloe berries from Tasmania. I didn't actually realize. They've decided not to call it a sloe gin. They just call it Blackthorn. I have to admit, I crack up the Brookies gin that's flavored with Davison plum. They call it their slow gin, SLOW, which is a cute pun, I think. Yes, Annette, you actually got the Blackthorn when we went to Patient Wolf. I got the Summertime, which is fucking great. It's a really good gin. But if I'm going to replace the cherry, I think I'll go back to Patient Wolf and get their Blackthorn. But yes, the Anther cherry is really good. That's the thing with these slow style gins. They're really good for just drinking on ice. I mean, they're really a good fruity gin is really nice. And yet you haven't opened Brookie's slow gin. I have. I think I did an order once from Brookie's. I got the slow gin, the Mac, and the Pacific Moonshine all at once, and I think I did that. That's a good call, Annette. Save it for when you're settled in at your new place. Good sipping gin. Or, as we've discovered, the Angry Stream's signature drink, the Snosberry Fizz, 50% slow style gin, 50% whiskey, topped with soda. Lots of ice. Wow, that's a big call, Kirsten. Summertime gin might be your favorite ever. Definitely top 5. It's very good. It is very good. Oh yeah, the chocolate whiskey, Annette. Did you get it? I haven't. I was tempted. I was very tempted to get it, but I've actually run out of shelf space. Need more shelves. I get jealous. Like several of the YouTube cocktail channels have a special little corner of their house, or maybe a whole room set up as their cocktail bar, and I'm really jealous. We don't really have room in this house. Kirsten, the chocolate whiskey was an Australian one. Oh no, Annette, chocolate whiskey never arrived. Didn't you order it from Dan's? They normally let you track orders. Trying to remember the name of the chocolate one. It was Australian. Chocolate whiskey. Ancient Wisdom is the name of the spot. Oh, it's actually like $10 off for members. Dang. See, now that's tempting me. Jesus. Okay. Are there spirits? Are there any offers at the moment I want from Dan's? Oh my God, they do this shit that really annoys the shit out of me. Virtually every time they have special offers on the website, Flor de Cana 12-year-old rum shows up at $20 off, and it's always out of stock. Like, I'm not joking. It's been on their special offers thing consistently for at least 6 months, if not longer, but it's never in stock. It's like fucking moronic, and I don't know why. The maker of the chocolate one was whatever I just said, which I have already forgotten. Thing that cracks me up on Dan's is like they have an offer, like, you know, this Ciroc vodka is $54.90 per bottle, or online offer $54.70. It's a 20% discount. It's ridiculous. Whereas other ones are better. They're like $5 off, or $10 off, or $20 off. But they have a lot of totally piss weak offers. See, it's Cointreau. If I cared about Cointreau, it's like $9 off, so it's more than 10% off for a big old 1 litre bottle. But if I want an orange liqueur, I'm going to get... Yeah, I'm just always supporting local, so I'm probably going to get the orange curacao from Marionette. Oh, shiz. What, has the order ended up at your old house, Annette? Oh, no. Oh, no. Things got confused, Annette. Oh, no, that's no good. See, and they're selling aviation gin for $15 off. And if I gave a shit about non-Australian gins, I'd probably get that. It's the Ryan Reynolds one, but I don't know. I only like supporting local makers when that's an option. But shit, Liquor 43, that's over $10 off. That's like 20% off. Okay, I don't think I have much Liquor 43 left. Maybe I should order that, because that's a really fucking good price. All right, I got to check. Where in my collection is Liquor 43? Should be on that shelf. Where is it? There are too many goddamn bottles, honestly. Oh, how much is left? Where is it? It's going to be down here somewhere. I would have thought it was here. No, it's staring me in the face. Oh no, I'm getting... Okay, fucking Dan's order going in. 20% off Liquor 43. Okay. Dan's order going down. And I'm going to get this fucking chocolate whiskey too. That Diplomatico. Oh, that's not even $10 off. It's an expensive rum I bought from Dan's because it was like $25 off at one point. Yes. No, Kirsten, that is definitely you. I'm warning your cold, dead heart. because virtually the only time I buy non-Australian product now is if there's no Australian equivalent. So Liquor 43 is a very specific Spanish liqueur. Even though no, Oakar Gold's not really Liquor 43. It's more like yellow chartreuse. That's why I don't get yellow chartreuse, because I've got an alternative. What else? Bloody gins. And I do get non-Australian whiskies because there's particular sorts of whiskey from around the world. And of course, tequila, you can't get Australian. Yeah, there are Australian distillers who make agave spirit, but they can't call it tequila because there are rules about it. Any other good specials? All the thing I actually want. Baron Zemedy. Spiced. There's a really funny thing you opened my eyes to, Kirsten. I never realized, like, Captain Morgan can't even be called rum in Australia because it's not rum. Oh, yeah. I could imagine the island throwing a spanner in the works for delivery, actually. I could imagine that making your life a bit more difficult. We got vodkas. I don't want vodkas. Stiggins, fancy pineapple. I've got some of that. I don't need that. I once bought Cuban rum from Dan's just because I could, because then I could show it off online and go to Americans, because Americans aren't allowed to buy Cuban products. And I can buy a Cuban rum that wouldn't be for sale in America. What else is here? Anything good? Blue Curacao from Marty Brazard. I think I need any blue Curacao. Archie Rose espresso martini in a can. Yeah, okay, $5 off, but I fucking hate espresso martinis. Hate coffee. Hate coffee. Limoncello. No, I've got a good limoncello. Another Australian thing. Kirsten, keep your eyes peeled. Top Shelf International will be releasing an agave product distilled under the watchful eye of Seb Fermanta. That sounds good. Choking on Ashes, it's illegal to call a drink tequila if it doesn't come from a particular area of Mexico and prepared in a particular way. But I know there are Australians making agave spirit, which is, they'd say is the same thing, but it's not from the region, so you can't call it tequila. Same as you can call your drink brandy, but you can't call it cognac unless it comes from the cognac region of France and follows specific rules, or Armagnac for the same reason. And as Australian sherry makers got smashed by, was it about 20 years ago, when the EU declared sherry could only come from a particular region of Spain. So the Australian sherry makers, who were actually doing quite well, had to rename their product Apera or something, and it fucking destroyed their market because people didn't recognize it. So, Kirsten, they're teasing it on the gram at the moment. Gonna bet that would be reasonably priced. Be interesting. Raiders, I'm not sure if any Cuban restrictions got lifted under Obama, so I could actually be wrong. Maybe Americans can get Cuban rum. Sharon, a friend got your bottle of Dimple Deluxe. Duty free was nice. Can't buy it in Australia. Yes, you can get like the cheap version of Dimple blended, but I'm sure they've got special one. I used to have some Dimple. I drank it all. Now I don't really drink Scotch. I drink Australian whiskies. Is there anything else? Brown creme de cacao. I don't need that. kind of need elderflower. What's I'm trying to think. The other booze stores are called Dan Murphy's. I want to get it from a non-Dan Murphy's. There it is. BWS, that's another one. Ooh, they sell tiny. Okay, so BWS sells Mari Brizard for $29 and Dan's selling it for $26. Don't know if I want it that much. Searching for bargains. Started drinking 0% beer again. Nice. She goes, no issues getting your big ass PC case from the mainland. It's the size of a small bar fridge. Well, I'm glad you didn't have any trouble. Because that would be annoying if they were saying they weren't going to deliver it. Bacardi Ocho. I think some people say that's good. I have enough rums. It's going to have to be a very, very special rum to convince me to buy it at the moment because I have a bunch. Oh yes, there's that Cuban rum I bought. Gin Lane. Is that Australian? Is it slow gin? I'm trying to remember. What do we got? I don't have I've got Japanese yuzu liqueur, but I don't have Japanese spirits. Not sure that I need them, but I don't have them. Nothing else really grabbing me here. $6 off the Not Your Nana's brandy, which I'm running slightly low on. I think I'll get that now. Choking on Ashes. Apera is the name for sherry in Australia. They used to call it sherry, but then the EU passed a law that said sherry could only come from particular parts of Spain. And so the sherry makers had to rename sherry to Apera. And it fucking cratered their industry. I know my mum used to drink Australian sherry in the 70s. So far as I know, when Australian distillers make an agave spirit, they just call it agave spirit because they can't call it tequila. So, yeah, it's the funny thing with naming. Some names are protected and some aren't. Like anyone can make whiskey, but you have to follow the rules to make Scotch whiskey, and you have to follow the rules to make Irish whiskey, and you have to follow the rules to make bourbon. But there's no specific name for Australian whiskey. It's just Australian whiskey. So there are no specific... Well, actually, there's probably the rule about aging. But there's not really any control. Tiny bottles of Kraken for $9.99. Look at these things. A grape vodka. Oh god, they got these flavored vodkas, which again is a fucking tautology because you're not meant to flavor vodka. All the arcane rules of spirits. That's okay, choking on ashes. You had to go to the loo. You lost the thread of things. That's okay. No harm, no foul. There you go. Dan's is selling the Anther cherry. Prefer to buy it from the actual distiller. Oh god, this same Australian vodka maker make a butterfly pea extract vodka. So it's purple, and if you add citrus, it'll change color because the color is based on the pH level. That's what I thought. Kirsten That for whiskey, the rules would be about aging and not really much else. That Florida Cana 12-year-old just showed up again on my search, and it's really making me want to write an angry letter to Dan's and say, the fuck is your story? This thing shows up every bloody time in your offers, and it is always out of stock, you shitheads. What the fuck are you doing? This makes no sense. It's like a promotional thing that can never eventuate. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Oh my God, there's a stroopwafel liqueur. A Dutch stroopwafel liqueur. For those who don't know, stroopwafel is this Dutch treat. It's these wafer type things with caramel between them. And I think the idea is like you sit them on top of a coffee cup or a tea cup, and the heat makes it go all goopy, and then you have it. They're actually pretty good. I flavored some milk with them recently to make a milk clarified drink to absorb some of that stroopwafel flavor. Just means syrup waffle. What's it? It costs 20%. It's from the Netherlands, a caramel liqueur. If you've ever enjoyed a Dutch stroopwafel, then you'll know what this liquor tastes like. Stroopwafel or syrup waffle are the round double biscuit waffles with a caramel layer. There's a touch of cinnamon in the waffle biscuit, which enhances the caramel, brings it all together. Typically, the Dutch put the stroopwafel on top. I was right. They put it on top of a cup of hot coffee to warm up and melt the caramel. Once you've tasted these, you know the flavor of this stroopwafel liqueur. It's caramel, biscuit waffle, and a hint of cinnamon. This liqueur can be enjoyed with your next coffee, poured over ice cream or apple pie, straight up after dinner, sipped as a note. I'm really fucking tempted to get stroopwafel liqueur. That's just going to be super fucking sugary. It's only 20% alcohol. Going to be a super fucking sugary liqueur. I should behave and not get it. I see, Kirsten. People, there's probably no one to enforce the aging rules. So there's a couple of dodgy dealers have been caught out. Yeah. Oh my God, speaking of dodgy, I read up a bit on that dodgy bastards from Tasmania who did that investment thing for whiskey barrels where they ended up ripping everyone off. The two people behind it who claimed that other people screwed them over, and there might have been something to that if it wasn't for the fact they were overselling, like they were selling more barrels than they could produce and screwing people over. The two people, the married couple who were sort of behind that distillery with that investment whiskey barrel scam, they moved to Queensland and did the same fucking thing with cattle. It was basically the exact same scam as the whiskey scam, but with cattle. And they first got investigated because they weren't caring for the cattle properly. The RSPCA got in. But then because these people had been dodgy before, ASIC, the stock police, basically looked into them, and they doing it again. So they've been convicted again. They're not legally allowed to run a company anymore because of their repeated scams. Kirsten, what would you make stroopwafel liqueur? I mean, obviously you do steep stroopwafels. Would you just do vodka? Steep stroopwafels in vodka for a while? Or what would you actually do to make a stroopwafel liqueur? I just never heard of it before, so it caught my eye. So the Newey distillery who make those flavored vodkas I was talking about, they actually make gins as well. So they make a butterfly pea gin. But I've got a butterfly pea gin. No, I've got the butterfly pea extract. I haven't used it. Got this neat stuff that makes drinks change color, and I haven't used it. A cola vodka, for fuck's sake. A pineapple vodka. Rogan's Way, Hearts of Fire. That's got a bit more integrity. Ancient Wisdom also do a barrel-aged gin. That's interesting. The people who make the chocolate whiskey, Ancient Wisdom, also make a barrel-aged gin. Is there anything else enticing? A green gin. That's gross. I don't trust those people. It's not even a flavor. It's just a colored gin. It's just called green gin. So, Kirsten, these same scammers opened a new distillery and then really quickly released a 5-year-old whiskey, and people are like, hang on, what's this? Yeah, because when I read into that scam, it was not just that they were selling more barrels than they could produce. Then they started trying to sneak in, like they were buying really cheap whiskey from, or possibly not even whiskey, like spirits, and then coloring it and putting it in the barrels and saying it was whiskey. So they were pretty fucking shameless in their scamming. Safi, you like the sound of the duck? I think it sounds pretty good. A caramel liqueur, stroopwafel liqueur. I think it sounds pretty good. Oh God, knew we do a caramel vodka too. Jesus, they're just putting flavors in their vodkas, which, honestly, I don't have an aversion to. I flavor vodka as well. So, but yeah, at a certain point, oh God, who are these guys? Stivvy's Sherbet Lemon Vodka. A mere $40 a bottle. That sounds like a quality product. Oh, German's Reserve. I'm almost out of that. What's that? $5 off. Is that worth it? $5. It's a white. No, I was going to get an overproof white rum. If I'm getting another white rum, I'm getting an overproof white rum for making beastly cocktails. Just have to find a good overproof white rum. Jesus, $200 bottle of tequila at Dan's. That seems like a lot to pay for tequila at Dan's, honestly. Yeah, Kirsten Newey just seems gimmicks. Yes. So, Kirsten, you would soak stroopwafel or find out what goes into. Yeah, I would just get stroopwafels. Yes, Raiders, that was Nant, the scammers. Yes. But yeah, what would you soak stroopwafels in, Kirsten? Would you just go vodka? Just soak stroopwafels in vodka for an extended period to get the flavor? Because I could be talked into that. Because it's interesting that because they made it a liqueur, so it's only 20% alcohol. So if you made it yourself with full strength vodka, you're going to have a stronger drink. I reckon you get the stroopwafel flavor in there. Leave it in there for a week or something. Then you could make, because then you'd like have I actually threw out the mushy stroopwafels. I put them through a nut milk bag and like squeezed all the milk out of them. So then there was this stroopwafel pulp, which I actually just threw out. But you could make like a boozy cheesecake, like use it as a cheesecake crust, just like push it into a cheesecake dish and bake it. Then you could have a boozy stroopwafel cheese. God, I actually want it now. I want a boozy stroopwafel cheesecake. I'm giving myself ideas. So I am. So, okay, there's one or two possible. Okay, I want to look. What have they got? Chocolate whiskey. Because I really want to fucking try it. It's $10 off. Do Dan's have overproof white rum? Looks like we can't find overproof. And does Dan's not sell overproof? Okay. I fucked up the search. Just do white rum. Sailor Jerry is not white rum. No, it's Malibu. Lions have a non-alcoholic white cane spirit. Flor de Cana, 4-year-old extra dry white. But I bet that's not overproof. Plantation 3 stars not overproof either. Here we go. Oh, a white agricole. Fuck yeah. 55%. It's really expensive though. So, classic overproof white rum epitomized the extent of Trois Rivers' know-how and respect for tradition. Southern Martinique, this comes from. Classic overproof white rum, surprisingly smooth and balanced, outstanding aromatic. Fuck me, overproof's always expensive. Ooh, it's a rum. Agricole. Ooh, I'm really fucking tempted. Have I been good? Do I deserve it? So, Kirsten, has a kind of comeuppance, new distillery Rochefort put out a bunch of whiskey, one priced $1,300, and no one would buy it. The packaging was gaudy. What a bunch of clowns. How much is the expensive stuff? It's like $120. But in terms of getting you pissed, that's like paying $80. And I don't have a rum agricole, and everyone's like saying you should have one. Hang down your head, Tom Durley. Yes, I have the white cane spirit from 100 Souls. Oh, and randomly they're trying to sell me tiki mugs too. Yeah, see, the Chairman's Reserve, which is not overproof, is $70. White rum. Hoochery. What's this one? I like the name, the Hoochery. Organic white rum. What the fuck is organic? It's fucking alcohol, man. You can't make me think it's special. It's fucking alcohol. You see, a 40% agricole is $73. And 55%, it's 120. I don't know. I'm tempted. Have I been good enough? Ooh, Rochford went into liquidation. Dang. Is he asking if Kirsten's advising to avoid AWH brands? Not sure if that's what Kirsten's saying, actually. But, fuck isn't that loading? Durleys. Yeah, 40. I think all the other ones are just 40%. What's this Flor de Cana? All the rum snobs like Flor de Cana. It's 40%. Sure, Plantation's only 40% as well. Ooh, wow, no, that's 22%. What the fuck is that about? That can't be right. No, it's 41.2. That's what I thought. I don't know. That's what I thought. Yeah, no, that was part of what I read on the Nance scandal. AWH was going to buy it, and Nance, lawyer and accountant, were possibly doing dodgy things to make it look like a better deal for AWH to buy. Yeah, and I say possibly because I don't know that anyone got charged. I'm not going to say anything actionable. So, what is it? Bacardi. I'm not buying Bacardi. What am I? Fucking Westie? White cachaça. From Brazil. It's only 40%. I've got cachaça though. Man, I'm really fucking tempted to buy this overproof rum agricole. God damn. Just got to convince myself, well, you haven't made any stupid alcohol purchase recently, so maybe you should make one now. Wait, where did it go? It's disappeared from the page. Maybe that's a message from God. Don't buy it. Oh no, there it is. I found it again. God wants me to buy it after all. Oh, nice. Kirsten sent me some links to ugly bottles. Nice. Right, Shame Larks were gobbled up now an ASX listed company. I don't really know anything about that. Choking on Ashes, there's a chav, yes, from the western suburbs. And I come from country west. So it's like a joke when I say I'm not a Westie because I'm even further west than the Westies. Oof, I'm really tempted to get this overproof agricole. Although, because I did Latin at school, and this rum variant, which is called agricole, which is meant to be like farmers rum, more rustic rum, and because the Latin for farmer is agricole, and so everyone sees this and calls it agricole rum with an H, rum. And but when I see agricole, is I in my head it's agricole, and people think I'm weird when I say that because you go, no, it's agricole. I'm sorry, I had a really strict Latin teacher in high school. It would drum into me that's agricole, which is Latin for farmer. You're saying that all of AWH rebranded as Lark Distilling Company. Yeah, well, Kirsten, correct me if I'm wrong, Bill Lark is still like behind the actual Lark distillery, isn't he? Isn't he? I don't know. So if you come from country south, country northeast, depending what state you're in, that's true. Yeah, I'm west. And even the town where I grew up, Dubbo. Dubbo is a generic insult, which means unintelligent person. So that's my legacy growing up. Okay, that's interesting. Kirsten, AWH divested some assets. So they went back to the Overeem family. It's complicated, I guess. So much going on in Australian distilling. It's very interesting. There's a YouTube channel that's fronted by a Melbourne bartender, and she's actually Scottish, but she's been in Melbourne for a while. Cara Devine, behind the bar with Cara Devine, and she's just done a series on Australian whiskey and how that's like taking on the air all. Safa, would you like drink with your ice? There's still a little bit of the drink actually. It's mostly melted ice, aka water. Still got a bit of flavor of the drink though. I'm not going to make another drink. It's bedtime. But I don't know. No one's tried to talk me into or out of buying the expensive overproof white rum agricole. I think I should because I don't have my rationale for that is I don't have anything like it in my collection, so I'm not doubling up. So because I got like 10 gins and which is very small potatoes compared to Kirsten's collection. I've got like 10 gins and 10 whiskies and 10 rums, but I don't have rum agricole. I don't have an overproof white rum. So I think I should get it. Safa, what about that Melbourne apartment restaurant only open for lunch and dinner? I don't know what that is. Oh, nice. Fred Siggins, Fred's a partner, and they're the cutest couple. Nice. I love how your whole thing for the distilleries is the people behind them. Stella, you're a bushy. Stepped up, moved into Western area, Western suburb, Western town. So many levels of West. Practically made of black denim and Ugg boots. You're actually considerably further west than me. But we used to make a joke, like particularly when I went to uni, college, with a friend of mine, and the Sydney people criticizing Westies, and we're like, where are the Westies from? And they'd say a western suburb of Sydney, which was, like several hundred kilometers to the east of where we were. And it's like, God, so what does that make us? We're like, if you keep going out west to Dubbo, you're like 600 kilometers west of Sydney. So we're 600 kilometers west of these guys you're calling Westie. I don't know what that makes us. Safa, no, I'm not going to play two up on Anzac Day. Don't really make a big thing of Anzac Day. Thinking of picking a fight on social media in the lead up to Anzac Day because I'm still really angry that a psycho mob chased a young woman out of Australia because in their mind, this was like the actual Murdoch media piled on because she dared to be woman and Muslim, and in their opinion, did not bow down sufficiently to the mythology when she actually did. So I'm thinking of picking a fight this Anzac Day. We'll see. Choco Nationals. I don't think black denim is particularly Australian. It's very popular in the western suburbs. Suburban kids. Yes, and in my youth, I had black denim. I don't got what are these? These are like black canvas pants, and they've started to fade because I tend to really wear clothes out. Actually, yes, black denim and flannelette shirts, and I've got at least 5 flannelette shirts, and I've started wearing them again because it's gotten cooler. I happen to be wearing a t-shirt today, but the flannel is coming out of the cupboard. It's flanny weather. So that's happening. And we go. Now, see, I'm saving $20. I'd be crazy not to. Purchase. Thank you for remembering my password. Is this a gift? No. Well, it's a gift to myself because I deserve it. Standard, yes. That's actually pretty cheap. Okay, so it might take a couple of weeks because it's coming from all over. That's okay. I can deal with this. Yes. Weird in that screen though. In here, no. Okay, it's good. No, we will do PayPal. Thank you, my friend. because you get refunds from PayPal if something goes wrong. As I recently got refund from, or agreed to, it's going to take a while, for my the bloody website that ripped me off. Oh wait, is that all paid? I reckon, yeah. The ice maker that I wanted from China, and I got a beanie instead, which is very Westy. So yeah, Raiders skin tight black jeans was the uniform in your teens. That's good. Yeah, I did buy them, Kirsten, because I don't have it. Still, you've got a Bruce Springsteen flannel. I've got 5 really different ones. I've got a blue one, a red one, and some sort of neutral colors. I've got 5 very different flannels. Flannies, depends for you. Ooh, the Invisible Chicken quitting Innie might move to Victoria, but you'll wait and see. Oh well, we'll have to see what the future brings us, Invisible Chicken. So I'm just at the point of wrapping up. As I have on several other live streams, wrap this one up with some online booze purchases. Yay. All right, so they're going to get me Liquor 43. So I'm going to mix some drinks with Liquor 43 to use up the bottle I've got. And sometime in the next couple of weeks, I will get other bottles. Woo! Surprises, treats. I'm supposed to be getting some clothes that I ordered online. And these are reward clothes. They will be too small for me when they arrive. But in a couple months, and actually, they're summer shirts. So next summer, I should be the right size to wear them. But that was like a little dare I did. I said, no, buy stuff that's too small for you now. Stick with the meal replacements, and you'll be able to wear them next summer. So I set myself that challenge. So yeah. So I'm supposed to be getting some clothes at some point. Some real retro style button-up shirts that I really like the look of. So we'll see how that goes. And yeah, now I'm getting. Well, I feel like I haven't had booze deliveries in weeks, and now I'm getting some. 4 bottles. Megalith, you've been watching His Dark Materials. I quite enjoyed that. There's 2 seasons of it so far, and quite enjoyed it. The subtitle of His Dark Materials should be "Adults Cannot Be Trusted," because it's based on young adult book series, and yes, the adults cannot be trusted. So that's basically the subtitle of that show. So yeah, my watching at the moment with Mrs. Angry is in a bit of a retro bent because we're rewatching 6 Feet Under, because I've seen it since it was first on, and the first season went to air 20 years ago, 2001. So like watching a retro show at the moment. And I'm continuing to watch a few things on Netflix. I saw they're advertising season 2 of the animated anthology Love, Death and Robots. And as I said on the socials today, I hope this season they've outgrown the rather adolescent, I can do boobs and swears in this, because a couple of the first season anthology were exceptionally good, and a couple of them looked good, but seemed to have this really sort of juvenile exhilaration with, oh, I'm allowed to do boobs and swears. And I mean, I like boobs and swears, but if that becomes your whole sort of guiding principle for something you create, is oh wow, that's you're gonna rewatch the Golden Compass movie to compare Mega Leech. That's an interesting one. Invisible Chickens watching Chinese and Thai shows. That's interesting. I sometimes watch Asian movies or anime. Not so much series. My offspring do watch series and Korean series that I. Still, I got an awesome high vis shirt. Blue base color's been tie dyed. Nice. difficult to be individual in your town that exists in Hive-Ears here. Oh God, tie-dye. We have this tradition in this house that I think I've mentioned of getting takeaway on a Thursday night. My offspring really quite like it, and found a new one on Thursday night, and it's about 15 minutes away driving, so it's not very close, and I'm not sure it's worth it. But young Missouri said, "Oh, these guys do poutine, not poutine. That's the drink. That poutine, the French Canadian, chips with cheese curd on it, and it does burgers." So she got poutine, and young Mr. Angry and I split a sort of big burger and big loaded chips, and it was good. Not sure it was worth the 15-minute drive, but why I brought it up is next door to it was a shop that just sells tie-dye clothes. They make all these tie-dye clothes, and it's okay. That is a weird specialty to have in a shop. Everything is tie-dyed in different styles. I've not seen a tie-dye shop in a long time, but now I have. So with that, good people, I am going to leave you for the evening. And speaking of viewing, I won't be on the stream tomorrow. I'll be viewing things with Mrs. Angry. Probably a couple more episodes of 6 Feet Under. And maybe something else. Who knows? And if you're into cocktails and if you subscribe to my YouTube cocktail channel, Angry Cocktails, tomorrow night, going live is the green swizzle. The green swizzle I made on the stream on Friday night. Birthday. So the greens, I edited and uploaded the video today, and it's scheduled to go live tomorrow night. So the green swizzle goes live tomorrow night. I won't be on the stream, but in all probability will be on Thursday. So take care, everyone, and see you soon.